what I want to do is I want to show you how to begin again, right? Within the present moment, we can sort of slow down. We can see things for how they are. We can take the potential and the opportunity that we have within the present moment to slow down, wipe the slate clean, and begin again. If you can do that, you can get off of this bunny trail of thinking and feeling and behaving in a certain way that you have been on for maybe days, weeks, months, or years. Now, it doesn't matter how long you have been on this bunny trail, right? You're finding me here today. All that matters is that within this present moment, that's the only time when you have the potential and the opportunity to be able to wipe the slate clean. What I want you to first realize is that in order for you to wipe the slate clean, we must make a distinction here. There's all of these things happening in the world and in your life, but there's also all of these things happening within your mind. And what we're going to focus on here is everything that's happening within your mind, because that is what is having you think and feel and perceive and eventually behave in a certain way by you acting out what you're thinking. So we're putting a line in between that, okay? Your mind is normally focused on everything that's happening here, right? You're focused on world events, you're focused on work, on relationships, on money, on so many things. Past, future, present. You're focused on it, and what typically happens with most people, so it's normal, just so you know, they find themselves focused on the same things all the time, okay? They wake up, they think about the same problems, they think about the same things that they desire that maybe they don't have, or maybe they think about positive things. No matter what, wiping your slate clean and beginning again always happens the same way. So it doesn't matter how long you've been on this bunny trail of thought. It doesn't matter how bad you've been feeling. It doesn't matter if you believe that this won't work for you, okay? It doesn't matter. Because this is where most people miss it. They miss why they actually have the opportunity right now to be able to wipe the slate clean and begin again. They think that they need to do something now so that they can feel a certain way in the future, right? Like, oh, if I read this book, then I'll definitely, I'll be able to probably start to experience life in this way and behave in this way and get these results. It doesn't happen like that. Your entire life is made up of this one single, sprawled out present moment. This is where everything happens. This is where everything has happened. And this is where everything can happen. Okay? So past, future, they all come together into this present moment. You cannot do something now in order to feel a certain way in the future. Because ultimately, that future will come and it'll be this present moment, and you'll still be trying to do something now in order to feel a certain way in the future. Do you see that we need to be able to first acknowledge that this present moment is where your power lies? And when we can start to pay attention to the fact that, yes, we've got all of these things happening in the world and in our life, and then we've got the mental side of things where we can actually be aware of the fact that we're just focusing on these topics. Like if you were just scrolling on YouTube, you're focusing on different things that have happened in the world, in other people's lives, right? This all comes into play by realizing that right now, in this present moment, there is mental activity arising, and we must simply first be aware of that mental activity. We must be able to actually see it for what it is, okay? Maybe it's remembering the past. It's not actually the past. It's a thought occurring within the present moment. Or maybe you're imagining the future. It's not actually the future. It's a thought arising within the present moment. I want you to see your thoughts for what they are. I want you to realize what they are. Well, you're talking to yourself inside of your mind. Completely normal. Again, it doesn't matter how you've been thinking, how you've been feeling. It doesn't matter how bad it's been, how good it's been. It's completely normal that you have been perceiving your life in this certain way because you maybe just didn't even know that this is what was happening. Like this, you thinking and feeling in this way right now is determining your entire perception of reality. It's determining your whole mood and your attitude right now and how you're going to continue to move throughout your day. We must realize that we've been on this bunny trail of thought. It doesn't matter for how long, but we must be able to see the bunny trail. Like realize that we're on this bunny trail of thought. And of course, it's constantly changing all throughout the day. But many people just find themselves sort of stuck on it like they're on a treadmill. We must realize we're on a treadmill. And we must get off of a treadmill. Right? If we want to actually like slow down and relax, clean the slate, let go, begin again, right? First, realize that you're on a treadmill. Witness these thoughts arising. Notice that it's just you hearing what you're thinking about, right? No matter what the topic is, no matter how you're feeling right now, you can be aware of that. You can notice when one thought starts and then notice when it ends. Notice that when it ends, another thought begins. Notice that these basically sentences that you're speaking in your mind, they have a beginning and an end point. And just see them clearly for what they are. Watch the fact that when a thought comes, no matter how it's making you feel, you can watch that thought arise within your mind. You can watch it end. It's got a beginning and an end. And when we can become more aware of what is arising within our mind, instead of just unconsciously just absorbed in them completely, to where they are completely determining how we are feeling, how we are behaving, right? And what we determine is going to happen within our lives, we can always slow down. We can see what's happening within our mind. We can just pay attention to it. We can sort of step off of that treadmill. You can see the treadmill run, and you don't need to be a part of it. That is where you can then consciously think to yourself, well, where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do after this video? You can literally do anything that's physically possible for yourself. Now that you're off the treadmill, you can make that decision and go throughout your life in a completely different manner.